All right. I'm excited to join you this time at 4 o'clock on the Central Standard Time, 5 o'clock on the Eastern Standard Time. I am Dr. Lorenzo D. Smith. We will discuss the topic today, how to practice empathy on the talk show Hard Knocks Podcast. That's WBSW Radio, the number one internet station. And Hard Knocks Podcast is all about focusing on being raw and real about life. The website is WBSW Radio, the internet station 23.wic.com. You can join me, the host. You can be a guest on www.riverside.com. And the link is riverside.com/studio/WBSW-radio-internet. If you want to share your opinion, stories, and example live with me and the world, you can go to facebook.com, Big O Live, and TikTok Live at Dr. L. Diaberto Smith, Facebook.com, which is Zeta Phi Sigma Greenville, Alabama. Just be Zeta Phi Sigma Greenville. Then we have Super Live, WVSW Internet Radio, Tango.com, WVSW Radio 14059, Twit at Dr. L. Diaberto 2017. Then we have Tick Live, Dr. Lorenzo Diaberto Smith. And we also have, and I'm trying to get us back up running on one of the devices. We also have an opportunity to check us out on YouTube. We have two channels working on YouTube. First, we have the Smithway Enterprises, and then we have Dr. Lorenzo Diaberto Smith. Our on-demand episodes are audio only, available for WBSW Radio on Alexis, Apple Podcasts, Edge, Google Plus, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Heart Paradise, Snitchers, Pandora, Spotify, and Amazon Podcast, operated by PodServeFM.com. WBSW Radio, the number one internet station, has listeners and watchers in 61 countries and on 6 continents. We're interactive, where you can be a part, type in your comments, or whatever social media device you're on, type in your comment. If you want to share some thoughts about it, you can actually be invited. We have no problem in doing that, but we want to get our show started. I see several people want to be invited as of now to chat, and I want you to hold off on that. Just leave the invite up and don't disappear. Stay there with me, and I'll make sure I get you in with the introduction. All right, if you want to register for WBSW Radio giveaways by sending your name and a means of transaction. And the purpose of the means of the transaction is that we're going to send you from $5 to $100. Doesn't matter what social, in essence, what means of transaction. We have 5. That's Bitcoin, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, and Zelle. You can send it to Lorenzo D. Smith 15 at gmail.com. So a seed with WBSW Radio station by sending a like. Hit the like button. You have the capability of hitting the like button, so I need for you to hit the like button. We have MC Owens joining us. Wilmer Black, thank you so much, Wilmer. We got Mims joining us. We have Michelle Lewis jumping in here. We have Eddie. Thank you for taking time to be here. We got HR joining us. So you can be a part of it. You can be a part of our giveaway, and you also can sow a seed with us by hitting the like button. If you want to monetize with WVSW Radio, you have the possibility, the opportunity to go through Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Big O Live, Podbean, Heart Paradise, Super Live, Tango, Twit, and YouTube. The title today is How to Practice Empathy. A lot of us struggle with that idea of practicing empathy because we have sometimes confusion. That confusion is some people believe empathy is the same as sympathy. It is two different things. So we're going to talk about today how to practice empathy. We're going to be able to explore exactly how to do that. You ask the question, what does empathy mean? Empathy is the ability to recognize, understand, and share the thoughts and feelings of another person, animal, or a fictional character. Developing empathy is crucial for establishing relationship and behaving compassionately. It involves experiencing another person's point of view rather than just one's own point of view. It enables pro-social or helping behavior that comes from within rather than being forced. Being forced to share empathy is a challenge with you. You got to remember the ability to recognize, understand, and share. Remember, share what those individuals are going through, what they're going through. So we want to talk about that today. And we asked that question. This part one is what empathy really is. What empathy really is. Empathy is often misunderstood. People confuse it with kindness, politeness, or sympathy. But empathy is something deeper. It's deeper because it should affect your inner self when you see people going through some challenges in their life. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person, not to fix them, not to judge them, not to compare their experience to your own, but to be with them in their emotional needs. You're not there to fix them. Please don't judge them. Don't try to compare your experience with their experience, but be willing to be a part of the emotional world they have going on. There are three types of empathy. One of them is cognitive empathy. And cognitive empathy truly centered around your thought process. It's centered around what you're thinking about, what's going on. So that means you got to have an understanding what someone feels. That's your cognitive empathy. The next one is emotional empathy, feeling what someone feels. Compassionate empathy, caring enough to respond with support. See, most of us naturally yes, sir. Okay, sound like a winner. I'll see you. See you about 30 minutes. Okay. All right. How about it? Sorry about that, staff, and sorry about that. You know, you don't supposed to step off and take calls, but I was kind of expecting that call. I thank you so much. Again, compassionate empathy, caring enough. You must care enough to respond with support. But when you're practicing empathy, means learning to use all three: cognitive, emotional, as well as compassionate. Why empathy is important. Empathy helps us connect and help others. But like other traits, it may have involved with a selfish motive, evolved, using others as a social antenna to help detect danger This is what empathy allows you to connect, allows you to help others. It's like other traits. It evolves with a selfish motive, using your social antenna to help you detect danger. See, from an evolutionary perspective, creating a mental model of another person's intent is critical. The arrival of an interloper, for example, could be deadly. So developing sensitivity, see, empathy requires you to be sensitive. You must have those signals that you can see and feel, because it comes from your inner self, from your heart and your soul. So the signals of others could be life-saving. Why empathy is hard. If empathy is so important, why don't we practice more? Why don't we practice more? One of the things we have to think about is we're distracted. That's why we don't practice on empathy. We're distracted. See, our attention is fragile. See, we listen with half a mind and half a heart. We're uncomfortable with emotion. Someone else, sadness or anger can trigger our own. We rush to fix. We think we can fix everything. We want to solve problems quickly because it feels efficient. But empathy is not efficient. It's intentional. So if you lack empathy, you lack the intention to really see how somebody else is feeling. So we rush to fix. We judge without relying it. Our brains are wired to categorize, compare, and conclude. Those three C's, our brains are wired to characterize things. We put them in certain places. We also compare what has happened. Have I experienced that? Then we also come up with a conclusion. Next, we assume we already understand. But assumptions are the enemy of empathy. I want to repeat that one. We assume we already understand. Because the first thing when we see people going through challenges and certain emotional aspect, we say we understand. But assumptions are the enemy of empathy. Give a shout out to Ruby Beverly joining us, saying hi to you. Flower just jumped in. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Recognizing these 5 barriers is the first step toward overcoming them. I want to repeat them. We are distracted. We're uncomfortable with emotion. That's what we said. Some people are emotional unstable. Your emotional intelligence plays a major role. So you have to work hard to make sure your emotions are stable and mature. You have to work hard. So you have to care Take care of your emotions. Take care of empathy. So the core skills of practicing empathy. This is the heart of the speech we was talking and sharing with you. The practical and the actionable skills to practice empathy. The first skill is deep listening, meaning working on your listening skills. See, most people don't listen to understand. They listen to reply. I'll repeat that, number one. Most people don't listen to understand. They listen to reply. See, practicing on your listening, active listening skill, said you have to keep your mouth closed and listen. Then think about it. Then give a response to those persons to let them know you actually heard what they said. Vanessa, thank you for joining us. Joanne, thank you for jumping in here. Is that Vic? Thank you for joining us. Is this Arnie? Arnie, thank you for joining us. See, empathetic listening means putting away distractions, cell phone, computers. You need to just have your focus on what's being said. Letting silence do some of the work. You need to be quiet and listen. Listen for emotions, not just words. Not interrupting. I have noticed a lot of times on panels, you can't get words out because the people that don't like what you're saying is comfortable with interrupting you. Because they figure if they get you off game, now you're going to get emotional and you're going to say something off cue. I see it so many times on all levels. Can't have a simple discussion because they're not willing to listen. It's not that they're not active listen. They want to get you because they're ready to reply and they can't wait. They got to get theirs into place. I want you to try this exercise. The next time someone speaks to you, mentally repeat their words in your head. It forces your brain to stay present. So remember that. We want to try this. This is an exercise. The next time someone speaks to you, mentally repeat their words in your head. It forces your brain to stay focused. Good example of a story. See, a manager once told me, I realized I wasn't listening when I caught myself waiting for my employee to stop talking so I could tell him why he was wrong. This is not listening. You're listening to reply. You're listening to tell so you can prove that person is wrong. You're trying to get that person, that's why you interrupt them, get them off their game. You need to be an active listener. That's where you can really experience and practice empathy. See, by that individual not listening to the manager, they are getting ready to debate. See, empathy begins with listening that honors the other person's humanity. See, some people will disrespect you, get you off your game. Because what they want to do is they want to distract you. But just to repeat what they said inside of your head. Allow your brain to take it and nourish it. Cultivate it so you can respond in a manner. Give a shout out to Guy. Tommy, thank you for joining us. Curiosity is the next skill. It's curiosity without judgment. Empathy thrives where curiosity lives. Instead of assuming, ask, what was that like for you? First question. Next question. Can you tell me more? Third question. How did that make you feel? Fourth question. What do you need right now? Those are 4 questions that thrive, bring about curiosity that sets up empathy. See, you don't have to assume when you ask those questions. See, these questions open doors. Judgment closes them. Repeat that. The questions I just shared, the 4, open doors. Judgment, meaning you already made your decision, closes things. Curiosity says your experience matter enough for me to explore it. The next skill is naming emotion. People feel seen when their emotions are acknowledged. You don't have to be perfect because we're imperfect people. You just have to try. Imperfect people have to try to get it right. That's what your perfection come into play. Said things like this. Mitchell, thank you for joining us. Adolph, thank you for joining us. You need to say things like, it sounds like you are frustrated. It's the first thing. The next thing, I hear a lot of disappointment in your voice. The next thing you like to say when you're trying to name the emotions, it makes sense. You feel overwhelmed. See, when you name an emotion, you validate it. And validation is one of the most powerful forms of empathy. Validation. Perspective taken is the next skill. This is the ability to step into someone else's shoes. There's a song out, Anthony Hamilton, walking in my shoes. So you never walked in my shoes. So you don't know what I'm going through. You can only make an assumption of what I'm going through. But when you walk in my shoes, you can experience what I'm going through. The experience they have is going to be different from yours. It doesn't mean you agree. It means you're willing to imagine. So you ask yourself, what might this feel like from their point of view? See, that's empathy. Those questions like that allows you to practice empathy. What pressure might they be under? Antoine Stately, thank you for joining us. Special K, thank you for jumping in right now. These guys I'm giving, these individuals I'm giving hi. The next one is, what story might they be carrying that I can't see? See, that story they're carrying, you don't know because you hadn't walked in their shoes. You must walk in those shoes. We might not put our feet in their shoes, but the same road have a little different turns for each and every one of us. But we must have empathy for others. Respond in a point where you say, perspective taking is the antidote to judgment. Perspective taking is the antidote to judgment. Respond with compassion. Empathy without compassion is incomplete. Empathy without compassion is incomplete. Compassionate response sound like, I'm here for you. That sounds really hard. Thank you for trusting me with that. You're not alone. Notice what's missing. Notice in those 4 statements what's missing. I'm going to repeat them. I'm here for you. Stacy, give you a shout out. CD Port, thank you so much for joining us. That sounds really hard. Thank you for trusting me with that. You're not alone. These are some compassionate responses when people are sharing things with you. Now, I'm going to tell you what's missing for those 4 statements. Advice, number 1. So you're trying to give somebody advice without listening to hear what's going on with it. Sinbad, thank you so much for joining us. The second thing is fixing. See, you can't fix someone when you're not fixed yourself. You're trying to fix them when you don't even understand what's going on. That's why you need to have a compassionate response. Because they trust you. They share that with you. Then you can say, you're not alone. I'm with you. We're going to cross that road together. We're going to cross that road together. The next thing is comparisons. You didn't hear anything about comparing. Comparison. And the last thing you didn't hear in those 4 statements is minimizing what those persons are going through. Minimizing it. Don't minimize somebody else's experience. You can minimize your experience, but don't minimize someone else, especially when you open the door, say you want to listen to what's going on. Remember, you can't walk in their shoes and have the same experience. You have to remember that you have to be able to practice empathy with others so people will practice empathy with you. See, compassion is present, not problem solving. You want to let them know you're here for them. You want to let them know that sounds really hard. You want to thank them for trusting you to even share that with you. And let them know you're not alone. Nothing about problem solving. It's compassion. It's present. Harry, thank you for joining us. Hornball 27. Diego _ Reeves, thank you for joining us. Thank you for jumping in. You're not a problem solver when you're dealing with people. Empathy. Be compassionate. Heavy on the naughty. Thank you so much. Lipstick. Send the button. Hit the like button. All of y'all hit the like button. The next thing is practicing empathy in real life. So you got to practice in real life. So let's talk about where empathy matters most in a relationship, no matter what kind of relationship it is. Family, friend, work, romantic, church, community. Empathy deepens connection. It reduces conflict. It builds trust. Empathy builds trust. Once trust is torn down, there's no need to go back and be a part of that relationship. See, when your mate says, I feel ignored, the empathetic response is not, well, that's not true. Well, that's not true. It's tell me what makes you feel that way. You got to know how to respond. You got to be willing to respond in a relationship. Show how deep your empathy is. It connects you. At work, empathy improves teamwork, leadership, and communication. See, a leader who practices empathy creates psychological safety, a space where people feel safe to speak up, make mistakes, and grow. The next thing is, in difficult conversation, this is life. Empathy doesn't mean avoiding conflict. It means approaching conflict with understanding. Try this phrase. Help me understand your perspective. It lowers defensive instantly. Last but not least, where you're practicing empathy in real life is with ourselves. Doom, thank you for joining us. Sandy, thank you. Sean, thank you for joining us. Awangi, thank you for joining us. Self-empathy is the foundation of empathy for others. Self-empathy. Self-empathy. You cannot pour from an empty emotional cup. Treat yourself with the same compassion you offer others. Those are the 4 real life experiences and the places you have to practice empathy. Exercise to strengthen empathy. Here are some practical exercises you can use daily. Things start happening, take the 10-second pause. I always talk about, as an administrator, as a principal, I can have a fight at my school. I'll get individuals brought to the office area, have them to have a seat, and I have them sit there and tell them to just think about what they've done. I'm practicing, I call it the minimum 7-second drill. They can think about what they've done. They'll think about the consequences, but use it 10 seconds as a pause. Let them pause for 7 to 10 seconds before responding. Always pause for 10 seconds. It slows your emotional reflex. The 3 feelings check in. The 3 feelings check in. Ask someone, what are 3 feelings you have had today? It opens emotional awareness. Gene, Felix, Dread Fox, Judy, joining us. Thank you. Mella, thank you so much. See, the 3 feelings check in me. Ask those people, what are the 3 feelings you had today? It opens emotional awareness. Thing is the tell me more rule. The Tell Me More rule. And the Tell Me More rule is all about when someone shares something meaningful, respond with tell me more. It signals genuine interest. The Empathy Journal. Each day, write down one moment when you practice empathy, or one moment when you miss the opportunity. Awareness builds skill. Ray, thank you for joining us. Ray Gilbert, 225, join. Thank you so much. The perspective swap. Perspective swap. Think recent conflict. Write the story from the other person's point of view. It's humbling and enlightening. Think about the conflict, the recent conflict. Then you write the story from the other person's point of view. It's enlightening. It's humbling. How do children develop empathy? Babies display an understanding that people's actions are guided by intention. Shauna, thank you so much. Ellie Carr, thank you for jumping in here right now. Sean Harrison, thank you so much. Babies display a understanding that people's actions are guided by intentions and are able to act on the understanding before they are 18 months old. Think about that now. A child, we always talk about children must read by the third grade. If they ain't practicing reading from the time they come out the womb, they won't be there. If they actually see things happen, see, they got a better understanding of it because they really see your true intention. They see your intention. We're talking about before they're 18 months old. 18 months old. Including trying to comfort. Children would try to do that. Babies would, when they see things going on with their parent, they'll come over and lean on their parent. They're comforting their parent. You say, why does this child know this and only 12 months old? Because God placed it in them early. See, they're pure. See, they're able to understand things we're not going. They observe everything. This is how they learn. And we have to make sure what we practice around them is not what we want them, unless it's a positive thing, not a negative thing. See, a more advanced reasoning about other people's thoughts develop by around the age of 5. Hey, Jimmy. All right. I'll be out there in a few minutes. All right. So as we get ready to close out, I want to thank each and every one of y'all. But just keep in mind, see, children have advanced reasoning. And it developed around 5 or 6 years old. This is what research has shown, that parents who promote and model empathy raise more empathetic children. It's all about practicing empathy. And I want to appreciate each and every one of you all for joining us. We're going to have a part 2 to this. God has been so good. This is WBSW Radio, the #1 internet station. I am Dr. Lorenzo D. Smith, and it's how to practice empathy is what our focus was today. I want each and every one of you all to be safe. Take care of yourself. Samuel, thank you so much for joining us. Princess, thank you so much for joining us. And all the other joiners, Katrina, Serge, Ash Day, Maul, and all of y'all. It was a blessing having you all here. And I tell you, check us out tomorrow. We got an awesome show planned. And you can check the Dr. Lowe's Show, the Real Relationship Talk Show, coming at you at 4 o'clock. We're going to make it do what it do. Be safe, be blessed. We'll see you. We'll holler at you because we love you from our heart. So we'll say, I love you, and ain't a thing you can do about it. We'll holler at you.